LifeHakx. Technology, business, multimedia, wellness and health, events, reviews, and more. LifeHakx.
This is Mary Collins from LifeHakx Media, and I have the pleasure to have Maya Notkovitch on with me today. Hi, Maya. How are you?
Hi, Mary. How are you?
I'm thrilled to have you because not only are you gorgeous, but you're absolutely a blast to talk to. So let me tell the rest of our viewers and those who are listening on radio a little bit more about you. Maya has worked in the biomed and the financial industry, and now she works as a columnist on The Marker, an economic magazine where she talks about the link between business aesthetics and individualism and how it affects your success. Also, she has been on La Chia, which is a woman's show, as well as Saluna and other various radio shows like 102 FM, which is a lifestyle show, and various TV shows like Potrium, as well as Margishat Yofi, which means feeling beautiful. She's been also on Paolo and Leon and so many others. Of course, Maya, our list of all these fantastic things that you've been on and the work that you do will be on lifehakx.com. But with that, tell us a little bit more about what you're doing currently. And of course, share some of your wonderful life hacks tips on how one's individual look can be the success that they need in their life, whether it be partnerships or in business or any other kind of relationship. Take it away, Maya. Tell us a bit more. Okay.
So I'm Maya Notkovitch, and I'm Israeli, born in the USSR. Soviet by nature, Israeli at heart. Well, I'm 43 years young, and I'm married to an Argentinian, and I'm a mother of 4. And individual aesthetics is much more than just aesthetics for me, and what I teach my client and what I scream from every platform that I'm given a shot at. Individual aesthetics for me is the ability for a person to, first of all, validate him or herself and then express himself authentically, correctly, in a very impressive and aesthetic way to the world. And it's the link between the person and his self-esteem, and it's the link between the person and the correct people that are drawn to that aesthetics. All right. So this serves like a sifter and a magnet. It sifts away everyone that are not everything and everyone that are not correct for us, and it kind of pulls towards you the correct partner, the correct client, the correct job, because people are drawn to what they feel, and what they feel in the first couple of seconds are based completely on what they see, because they haven't sniffed you, touched you, tasted you. Everything is based on what they see. And the first person that is deciding whether you are a unique personality that is absolutely worth getting known to is you, yourself, in the mirror, in the morning. So the first thing that happens is the link between your aesthetics and your personal self-esteem. So that's what I do.
Perfect.
Why work harder when you can work smarter and live better? LifeHakx.
So we are on LifeHakx with Maya Notkovitch, and she was telling us her first top hacks about owning who you are and finding out who you are. So with that, Maya, how does one find who they are? I mean, I obviously had no problem because I was always a rebel, but for people who can see me visually, but for people who are lost, whether they're business owners or simply starting out with the whole, finding what they want to do in life, how does one own a look or find themselves?
All right. This is valid not just for business owners. This is valid for people in general. Mm-hmm. I think the human premise on which we can actually exist in every sphere in our life, finding a mate, a soulmate for life, finding a new client, finding a new job, the premise on which we kind of put our success on is that we are not like everyone else. So first and foremost, people need to accept that premise. I am not like everyone else. Otherwise, why this specific client should hire me? Why me? Okay, so why me is the question people need to embrace and then answer. I am not like everyone else. Otherwise, why does this man should date me, specifically me? What's it about me? There are like millions of women out there. Why me? Okay, so being unique is not a disadvantage. Being unique, being who you are, makes it for the highway of chemistry between you and the right client, the right partner, the right boss. So first and foremost, accept that you are not like everyone else. Okay, that you're beautiful and insane in your own way. And then ask yourself, so what's unique about me? Who am I? Why me? And then people can ask themselves questions that have nothing to do with the business or their ideal relationship. They should ask themselves, okay, when I was a kid, for example, what did I like to play with? Which games did I like win over? What was I best in? What in me allowed it to happen? Like, for example, when I was a kid, I played a lot with the Rubik's Cube, with logical games, with the Rubik's Cube. And I played tons with like mechano games. I structured buildings and built cars. I didn't play with dolls. I played with like male games a lot. So that's me. So I'm like an analytic mind, and I have an engineer mind on one hand. On the other hand, I always, like when I was a kid, I always paid attention to aesthetics. So I chose the right dress with the right shoes and the right hat, and everything had to be just perfect. So I knew right then and there that aesthetics was one of the windows to my soul. Aesthetics was the thing that gave me oxygen. You have friends. Why are these specific people your friends? If you ask them, what would they tell you about you? What is it about you? Maybe you are their shrink. Maybe you are the person that they come to and spill all their problems to. So that tells me or you about yourself that you have like these therapeutic quality about you. You are able to listen. You're a good listener. Maybe you give great advices. Maybe you have lots of patience to hear a friend bitch about her husband for an hour. Okay, you can ask yourself all these questions that have nothing to do with the thing that you're wishing for, and turn them to yourself. What is it about me? What are my qualities? If I had the banal question, if I had $1 million, would I still be doing what I'm doing right now? Would I still have the same business? Maybe I would sing all day long, spend the day on the beach, hike through Europe and see the architecture. Every answer you give to yourself is an answer that can tell you something about yourself. The glasses, the fact that I have glasses makes me like a nerd, right? Okay, I'm kind of nerdy. I have glasses. Yeah, we're nerds. But glasses can be like 50 million shapes of glasses. I chose a specific shape, colorful, bold, big, plastic. I chose it because the glasses serve a purpose. One, I'm intellectual, and two, I'm eccentric. So I gave the glasses both. I'm a child inside because I kind of had to grow up very quickly. Coming to Israel, I was 11, and I became like a parent in a second because my parents were very old. They were 55, and they kind of took the reins and became an adult overnight. So but the child in me needed attention. So this child still needs to be a kid. So I'm wearing a sweatshirt, right? But I'm wearing a sweatshirt underneath like this colorful, creative kimono. That's the creative side of me, etc., etc. I kind of realized what I am, what makes me me, and expressed itself in an image that changes, but still all the qualities are there. No matter what I choose to wear, I actually kind of make a point to for all the qualities to appear. So my first life hack, ask yourself these questions, and then be bold, grow some balls, and go ask some person who does not know you. You don't know me. What do you think of me? You just saw me for a second. Right now, we haven't spoken. What do you think of me? What feel do you get from me? Who do you think I am? And if the answer does not correlate with the answer you gave yourself about yourself, there's your gap. That's the gap you need to close, because that means that who you are does not portray in your exterior and the vibe that the universe gets from you, but firstly that you get from you is not whole. It's okay.
Just hope you don't walk up to someone who hasn't had a coffee in the morning. You're the wrong person.
Actually, that would be that would be fantastic, because that would be maybe painful, but at least honest and uncensored.
Okay.
Right.
So once you've got that, what then does a person do with it? Because I mean, obviously, you're an expert at this and helping people find themselves and then create a look for themselves. So. And of course, on lifehakx.com, we will send people straight over to Maya's pages so that they can get help, because she is available online as well as in person. So now that if a person goes and they say, okay, this is what I want to look like and represent as myself, how are there any more tips that you have that will help them kind of especially with relationships, for example, because relationships are a big one during lockdown, and especially coming up to the big old Valentine's Day thing. So what would you recommend for someone who is trying to make the right impression in a relationship? I mean, that is important to kind of show your true self, isn't it? Because if you don't, then what's the point? You're going to have to come out at some point as who
eventually
you are.
Exactly. That's exactly right.
The first date scenario.
Why work harder when you can work smarter and live better? LifeHakx.
Okay, Maya. So with that, what do you recommend then for people now that they want to put themselves together? What other top hacks do you have?
Okay, so another one is, you have realized who you are. You answered the questions I gave you. Now you need to translate it into appearance, right? So what I want to do is for you to use your intuition. What do I mean? We didn't grow up in a cage, right? When I tell you, imagine a businessman, you will imagine a man in a suit. When I tell you, imagine a biker, you will imagine like a leather jacket, like something on your head, like jeans and biker boots. When I tell you, imagine a creative person, most of us will imagine a painter. How does a painter look like? Holding a brush, all the colors, the overalls, tainted with color. So we have intuition. Use that intuition. When I tell you, imagine a romantic, you will see like a woman standing in a chiffon dress, standing in a chiffon dress or a silk dress, like Paris and lights and hearts. We have intuition. We grew up with films and books, so we can imagine each and every aspect of our personality stand alone, just the aspect itself, not everything at once. And then what you need to do is combine them together. Take a piece of clothing from the biker, take a piece of clothing from the businessman, take a piece of clothing from the romantic and from the painter, etc., and combine them together. Okay? And then you get the whole experience, you get the whole look. Do it obviously within the rules of aesthetics, within your body structure. It needs to fit your body. The colors needs to fit your face. Your skin is skin tone, and for that you don't need me. Like Google body shapes and Google color palettes. Do it correctly within the rule of aesthetics. But that's what you need to do. You need to combine the pieces. You need to combine the characters into a whole. Okay? That's one.
Maya, you were saying about, getting a part of yourself and making sure you always have that on display, no matter what the situation. And so let's talk about first date situations or, getting to know someone in a relationship. What are your top hacks for that?
Okay. The mistake people make on first dates is that they try to portray a certain image that I think the other side expects to see. So, for example, a woman is dressing up in some kind of a cute cocktail dress, high heels, like chandeliers for earrings. Again, not all of us, not all women, but I'm giving an example. So she looks very feminine, right? Very romantic, very feminine. And she sits with this person, they're talking, the date goes well. He gets a certain image, he gets a certain feel. Okay, so they move on to a second date, a third date. The thing is, she is holding this person. She's able to hold this image, this person, because this affects her, first of all, not just him. She saw herself in the mirror before the date. She saw herself in the bathroom during the date. She's seen herself in selfies because she's posting on Instagram during the date. So the image kind of comes back to her time and time again. So it fuels this specific quality, the romantic quality, the feminine quality. A couple of dates into the relationship, let's say she spends the night, maybe even beforehand. And let's say, you know what? Let's say she moves in, okay? And then they move in together. And then she's much more than only the feminine version and the gentle version and the romantic version. And then the Cruella de Vil comes out, right? And it's there in all of us, right? And he is surprised. He's surprised because he has come to expect a specific person, a specific image. And then the whole thing explodes in a shitstorm in their faces.
Right. Yeah.
Because her true self comes out, because she's in her jammies feeling shitty, or because she just wore she wore the jeans and the t-shirt or whatever else, and this comes back to her from the mirror, this other side of her, and it has impact on her first and foremost. She feels differently and she expresses herself differently, and he's surprised. He did not come to expect it. Okay, and the whole thing blows out, and then, the other scenario, the alternate scenario, is she realizes who she is, asks herself these questions that I, suggested earlier. There are much more of them, and she kind of portrays everything she is. So in that, smoked bar, the person that comes up to her in that bar will be the person that all of this kind of works for him. Yeah. Okay? It works for him. He will be drawn, a specific person will be drawn to her because, and thankfully, of that image. And that man that was drawn to the feminine, gentle image won't take another look. He won't start speking to her ever, because she's not the woman he's looking for.
Right. That is excellent advice. I mean, I've been watching like this Married at First Sight stuff, and it gets me every time, because these 20-year-old women are like wearing false eyelashes. They've got Botox. They've got their lips done. And I'm just like, she's going to have to take off that makeup. What is she thinking? Like,
it's not about the makeup. I'm all for makeup, the right amount of makeup being, I'm about makeup being an amplifier of what you are, not a mask.
Right, exactly. Right? That's what my mom taught me. She says,
of what you are.
Exactly. Let it accentuate what you have, your cheeks, your eyes, whatever it is.
What you have.
Exactly.
And the makeup is part of it, and the hair is part of it, and the clothes are part of it, and accessories, the glasses, everything is a part of it. You need to look like all your aspects. And if you are a tomboy and you spent your childhood like me, climbing trees and not playing with dolls, there is no fucking reason on earth for you to be in a romantic chiffon dress for a date.
Unless you have boots
who you
on.
are.
And you've got something underneath you can go.
And exactly. But if you have a feminine, but if you have a romantic feminine side of you, on one hand, like you are you love soap stories and romantic Hallmark movies, all good. But on the other hand, you like repair motorcycles in your spare time and climb trees. You need to look both. You need to be in a tutu skirt with Doc Martens on you.
Yeah.
You need to be both. Okay?
Right.
That's my point. Nothing is wrong with being romantic. Nothing is wrong with being a tomboy. The one thing that is wrong is when you are lacking, and you let the other person see just one side of you, the side that you think he wants to see or she wants to see. You need to be both. If you're a guy, and guys were raised to that they were raised in the sense that women expect a certain image of you. They expect, the strong male character, like a man character, because we are fed with Hollywood movies, with, Richard Gere and George Clooney, and they all look like these male characters. But you are a guy that cries when an X Factor audition moves you. Right? I have one of those at home. And he's like almost 2 meters tall, 3X shirts. Like, he's huge. My husband is enormous. And he's a man, he's a Viking. But he cries when the X Factor is on and the kids watch the people like audition. And there is like an incredible audition. He sheds a tear. So he's both. Okay?
Right. And so he needs to express that in the first couple dates. So maybe go see a movie.
Exactly.
Okay.
So you need to express this exterior. On your exterior, your image needs to express it right away from the first second. Because if that first second is not authentic, you're continuing a fraud. This relationship will never last. Because the other person kind of expects you to be something you're not.
Right. So it's true. It's like they say, it takes both sides. But by putting on a false, a wolf in sheep's clothing, as it were, if you pretend to be something you're not, then. But would you say that it is so important for the visual instead of just telling someone? Because I know that people think, oh, well, I'll just sit down and I'll tell them.
No,
but I think
it's important.
It's too affrontive, isn't it? It's too.
No. It's much. I'll tell you, the visual is much more important the first couple of minutes than what comes out of your mouth, because psychologically we make a decision about the other person within seconds, and that decision stays through the whole date. So if the person kind of decided what you are, when I say decided, I mean felt. It's in the back of his mind.
Right.
It's like it's subconscious. It's not like an actual,
think about it.
Mental decision. It's subconscious. It's a feel. Okay. So this feeling is there within 2 seconds, and then the rest of the date, like an hour, 2 hours, whatever it is you spend there, he tries to kind of justify to himself what he has already decided. So when you try to tell him that you love motorcycles and you draw and you like a torn soul with tons of traumas, and all he sees is this. All he feels is this perfect feminine version of you. Right. He's justifying to himself the initial decision he made. So you are kind of fighting. Instead of being on a highway of chemistry, you are fighting and you're trying to overcome that first decision.
Right. Losing battle.
It's much more important. Yeah, you are losing the battle. Even if you kind of manage to win the battle, you spent tons of energy that could have gone towards
a good relationship,
just making chemistry, towards the relationship.
Right. Okay. Excellent advice. And for people who want to find out more about how they can get help from you, whether online or in person, where is the best place for them to contact you and see your work?
I am on every media. It's Facebook, it's Instagram, it's LinkedIn. I have a website. I'm sure you will attach the link.
Absolutely.
The website is currently in Hebrew. I'm planning on giving it to a company to translate it into English, so it will be in English soon. That's it.
LifeHakx, which is with a K and an X, will have all of this information up as well. And we look forward to having more of your wonderful hacks and top tips on LifeHakx. Thank you so much, Maya. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you for having me.
LifeHakx.com. That's with a K and an X on Radio X.